Chair, Madam Co-Chair, and the committee. My name is Gironda. I'm here to represent myself and my children. I own a small, successful business here in Boise. I've lived in the valley for almost 25 years, raised my family here. I'm a senior citizen and a born-again Christian. Now, I have a question for Madam Chair and the group, but I have to put a little background in first. All right, so when I was 10 years old in 1965, my family moved from upstate New York to Columbus, Georgia. Now, this is 1965, and Lester Maddox was the governor. I don't know if any of you folks are familiar with him, but right next door is George Wallace, the governor of Alabama. Now, these folks were basically Klan politicians. Okay, now, most people nowadays, this is what they think of when they think of the Klan. They think of this hoods, white robes, burning crosses, lynching folks. Well, by the time I moved to the South, that was pretty much over. By the 70s, for sure, the Klan didn't do this stuff anymore, mostly. But they never stopped their true purpose. Their true purpose was to make and pass Klan laws in the South. Okay, now these were three things, basically. One, keeping people from voting. Two, anything to keep people of color, women, gay people, any other religion, Jews, Catholics, down. And three, to teach children their lily white version of Klan history. Now, the reason why this is personal for me, my little sister, 3 years younger than me, and my little brothers, they were too little. They didn't know. They learned this stuff. And today, they're really bad racists. They totally believe. My little sister even voted for David Duke, if you know who that is. All right, so now, it's not just Klan politicians, it's just regular people, doctors, lawyers, teachers, professors, teaching this Klan history, proudly teaching this Klan history in the South, okay? Plus, on top of that, most people don't realize that Klan people were Christians, right here. It says, for God and country. So they had Klan preachers down there preaching some weird Southern Baptist Klan Jesus. Nothing like any Jesus I ever knew. Nothing like any Jesus I would ever want to know. Okay? So, on top of that, they had their scapegoats too. They used scapegoats to convince people to make the laws. They used the Soviets, the Chinese, communists, Marxists, immigrants, whatever. They blamed the same scapegoats that were going to indoctrinate their children through history. Okay, so anyway, so my question, Madam Chair, and to the committee is, what makes you folks any different than those people in the South in the 60s? What makes you any different than Lester Maddox and the rest of those Southern folks down there?
Mr. Gironda, I would take issue with that you're impugning the intent of all of the committee members.
This is not a rhetorical question. I really want to hear why you think you're not like the Southern people in the South.
Mr. Gironda, we are studying an issue and trying to educate ourselves about what this is all about and any type of recommendations that we might be able to make on the subject.
Okay, well, your recommendations are going to be about teaching history to Idaho school children. Is that not correct?
Mr. Gironda, if you'd like to continue, you may continue with your testimony because you still have some time on the clock. But please don't question or impugn the integrity of any of these committee members.
Okay, so not to impugn anyone on this, but however, if you pass laws that make teachers teach only a lily white version of American history, this is not American, this is not patriotic, this is what the Russians do, and the Chinese do, and the Soviets did. This is what Klan people did. So I beg of you, don't pass these laws. Be real Americans. This stuff should be in the past. That's it.
Mr. Gironda, would you be willing to take any questions from
Sure,
okay.
I'd be glad to.
Thank you so much for your testimony today. And go ahead, Ryan, if you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Gironda. So I have a personal experience that runs counter to yours, and I am interested to hear why you think your experience trumps mine. So I attended K through 12, a conservative, predominantly white, conservative area, and the place that I lived was conservative in addition to the school, Christian private school, K through 12. I learned about redlining, I learned about Jim Crow, I learned about lynchings, I learned about slave markets, I learned about everything that you claim we are trying to conceal, and I got it from a private conservative, predominantly white Christian school, and you claim that that's what we're trying to hide. So I would suggest that you are claiming that racism is the exclusive domain of white people. Why do you feel that that is true?
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, you didn't grow up in the South in the 60s, did you?
No bantering back and forth
Okay.
between
All right. So anyway,
it's direct, like 3 or
that's good that you learned those things, but I've listened to all of your presentations, and I've listened to the task force, and it's all about how the Marxists want to indoctrinate our children about racism. If you learn that thing, wonderful. Are you going to keep that from the rest of the... So you're going to promise me that you folks are not going to pass laws that say we can't learn about the civil rights era? We can't learn about redlining? Okay, you're not going to do that? Then I don't have any problem then. Because from what I've heard, that's what it sounds like you want to do.
Okay.
You're not going to make teachers...
Are there any other questions from the committee? And any questions? Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And sir, I do just want to answer your question, to be honest. What makes us any different? What makes me different is that I'm, one, not racist. I believe that all men are created equal in the image of God. I think one of the most atrocious sinful acts on the planet is racism. When people look at someone else and judge them or oppress them or believe something, stereotype them just because of their race or color of their skin. And I think that's wrong. And to be honest, that's why I'm on this task force, because I do think that's wrong. And I hope we, as a task force, can influence our legislature and other people involved, educators and even parents. I hope we can help them create an environment in this state that acknowledges that racism is wrong and enables us to protect our kids from learning that racism is right.
Is there a question in that for Mr. Gironda? Mark?
No, that was a response to his question.
Okay. Are there any further questions for Mr. Gironda? Reverend Wilson.
There is a question in here, but we're going to have to get to it, I'm afraid. I like Mark, I hate racism, and I'm not going to be the last person in the world to deny that it still exists. And I've lived in the South, and I know what you're talking about, and I saw the same things in the North. It's not limited to the South. My question for you, because I believe, personally, we don't teach enough about our racial history. We need to teach more, but we need to teach the facts, not the fantasies. So my question for you is, you apparently your sources indicate that people like us want to suppress information. Where do you get that?
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, I got that basically from listening to the hearings. It's everything about how black people are worse than white people, and we're making white children feel guilty because of slave ownership back in the 19th century. So these are things I've heard. If you folks want to promise me that you're not going to pass any laws that make teachers teach what you think they should teach, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Are there any other questions? Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Gironda. You're suggesting that we should tailor our educational system to atone for sins that you saw in the U.S. South. Do you equally feel that we should tailor our education system to atone for the religious bigotry that we see unfolding right this minute in Afghanistan? To what extent do we need to atone for all of the world's sins?
Committee members, let's make sure that we also, let's make sure that we also keep our comments more directed towards any comments and not have personal commentary in if we're trying to direct a question to the member of the public. Mr. Gironda.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to, do you have a response?
There's no real response to that question that I can give. He's basically accusing me of, I don't know what, religious persecution around the world. This is all about America. Okay, there's no religious persecution of Christians in America. There just isn't. No matter what you may believe, sir. I don't believe there is.
Okay, we must maintain decorum when we speak to each other. These are difficult conversations, but we must respect each other and our differences of opinion. Are there any further questions for Mr. Gironda? Sonia, go ahead.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gironda, thank you so much for being here. I feel like you represent quite a large segment of the Idaho population, people who are concerned. And I serve on the school board, and I want to make sure the students in my district understand slavery completely and the problems there. But what my question for you is, how can we come together somewhere where we teach history and the horrors of slavery, but we also teach complete history, where we help people understand the great sacrifices of individuals who got us out of slavery and those types of things? Do you see a way forward where everyone can be satisfied with a teaching of complete history?
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, I personally believe that it should be left up to the local school boards. You know, the teaching about history is a very, very intricate subject. You have to teach everything about history. You can't leave stuff out. We're not just talking about slavery, but redlining. We can't leave these things out to our children. This is what happened in America. In order for America to truly be great, or for any country to be truly be great, you have to be able to look back at the mistakes that America has made and point them out and say, yes, we made a mistake. We screwed up, excuse me, really badly. This is what we could have done. This helps children to think logically and think critically and understand what's going on. Yes, it's just like parents. When you're a parent of a child, you're not perfect, you're not Mr. Perfect. You teach your children, God, man, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I messed up. I was really stressed out that day. Please forgive me. I did wrong. This is what teaches children that their parents are human beings, okay? The country's not a human being, but nevertheless, in order for us to teach our children how American history is and was, we have to teach the bad things along with the good. We have to teach Wounded Knee. We have to teach basically the obliteration of Native Americans in this country. We have to teach those things so that our children will understand how we can move past that and how not to make those same mistakes in the past.
Thank you. Further questions? Professor Yenner.
Yeah, just one quick question. Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on your knowledge of critical race theory and social justice and ideologies and such, what are the greatest accomplishments in American history according to those ideologies? And in what sense do they, in your judgment, teach the good of America? What is the good of America according to those theories?
Mr. Gironda.
I don't know. I don't think the committee ever defined what real critical race theory. It was never really truly defined. For me, what makes America great is we defeated slavery in the Civil War. We defeated fascism not very long ago. I lost uncles in World War II. So we defeated fascists those years ago. We have come a long way. Since I was a kid, there are no more colored and white signs up anymore. We've come a long way. As far as I'm concerned, we have not come far enough. We need to work hard, and this starts with our children, to educate our children what is still, America is a great place. It's not perfect. If we just teach that it's only great, only great, only great, kids are like, just like a parent saying, I'm only great, I'm only great, I'm only great, I never make mistakes.
A follow-up?
Yeah. So what textbooks, if I could ask, or curriculum teaches that America is only great? What is that you're referring to, please?
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, I have no idea. My last child left history, high school history 5 years ago.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead, Mike.
Madam Chair, Mr. Gironda, I just would like to know, do you believe that CRT exists in our society, as well as do you believe it exists in the schools? And if yes or no, do you understand what CRT is and what does it mean to you?
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, so again, I already stated that I don't really understand what you folks mean by CRT, but I get the impression that you think that Marxists are infiltrating America and trying to teach our children this Marxist ideological thing about racism in America. No, I don't believe that's happening in America.
Madam Chair,
A follow-up.
I was asking you if you thought it exists, if you understand the theory behind it, and if you've ever read books related to it.
Mr.
You're talking
Gironda.
about, oh, sorry, Madam Chair. Are you referring to the college philosophy course of critical race theory? Is that the critical race theory you're talking about?
Madam Chair.
Michael, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm just asking you if you've ever studied it, read about it, or if you know much about it.
Mr. Gironda.
Madam Chair, I have never actually studied critical race theory. No.
Madam Chair.
Follow-up.
This committee is investigating if there's critical race theory in the school systems here. So what we're doing is trying to find out the extent of it and what it is. My question to you is, after hearing Kayla's testimony, well, how do you feel about that? Because she obviously has an opinion, and being a woman of color, which is a term I think is divisive in and of itself, how do you feel about her testimony and what she has said? And did you listen to it before you made your statements?
Mr. Gironda, if you care to respond.
Madam Chair, I listened completely to her, and I'll just reserve my opinion on her. I did listen to it completely. I talked to a few members during recesses of some of the meetings, and pretty much I was told that yes, there's no decision whether CRT is being taught in Boise school, in Idaho schools or not. It was that yes, critical race theory was being taught and we have to do something about it. Now my question to you, sir, is this what you believe, that critical race theory is now being taught in Idaho schools?
Mike, do you defer to that question?
I would like you to answer my question, please. How do you feel about her testimony? What did it
I
move
don't
you?
think he answered the question. I think he had a choice, and he chose not to answer your question.
Okay.
Are there any other?
reason why you wouldn't want to
No,
answer
we're not going to go. We're not going to have this bantering back and forth. Is there any? Are there any other questions from the committee? Thank you, Mr. Gironda, for your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair.